Hey, today we're going to talk about the crystal known as fluorite, and it's often associated with clarity, flow, and frequency. Now, it's also known often as the genius stone because it can help align your energy flow within your body. It can sharpen your mind, it can protect your aura, and while also looking like a piece of rainbow magic. Because fluorite often can come in a variety of colors. So you can find it in green, purple, blue, yellow, or clear. And it can also sometimes be in a variety of those colors. This one is just a very pale green piece that I have here. I also have a purple piece somewhere as well. I just haven't been able to find it this morning. And so where it's often found is places like China, Mexico, or Mexico, South Africa, Spain, Russia, and there's particular areas in the United States as well. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you can work with crystals and stones, not necessarily by physically obtaining them. You can work with them through the use of your imagination and also art. So art could be things like photography, drawing, painting, whether that is someone else that's created that and you're contributing towards their art, or it's something that you have created yourself. Now, for some people, they're not comfortable with obtaining minerals that are being sourced from all around the world. They want to minimize those kinds of contributing to that possession of, and they may then use it through the various methods I just spoke about. Now, I'd also like to remind you that I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not saying that the crystal is going to cure X, Y, and Z. I am suggesting that this crystal may work with X, Y, and Z to alleviate maybe some illness or disease or some incongruent energy that you are experiencing within your body. Okay, so fluorite would often be considered a reasonably high vibrational crystal, and it's ideal for those seeking like mental clarity, emotional neutrality, and like spiritual attunement. So when we're looking at astrological placements or astrological archetypes that this crystal would often work with, we're looking at things like Virgo, Aquarius, Gemini. When we're looking at the kind of planetary connections, Mercury is quite high up there in regards to a planet that this crystal would often work with. And then we're looking at elemental aspects of it. It's mostly associated with the air element. You know, it's about thoughts, communication, clarity, and truth. Now, when we are looking at the benefits or uses of this crystal, I'm going to break it down into like the physical, the mental, emotional, and then the more metaphysical. So the physical aspects that you may find that this crystal can work with are things like boosting your immune system and recovering from illness. It can help with your bone strength, teeth, your cell regeneration. It can also support your nervous system, which may reduce things like inflammation and pain that you could be experiencing in your body. Now, from what I've shared before, it may be becoming quite clear to you that there is a lot of mental or mind benefits with this crystal. We're looking at things like increasing focus, mental clarity, decision making, clearing brain fog or general anxiety. It can also be quite good for like students or creatives, like anyone that's really in need of a sharp mind, even if it's for a short period of time or for a project that they're working on. Now, when we're looking at the emotional aspects that this crystal tends to tap into, we're looking at things like balancing the emotions, especially during like stress and conflict, releasing attachments that are no longer serving, old habits, and it can also promote a sense of emotional detachment. It doesn't need to be in a bypassing way, but in a momentary aspect of experiencing the emotion outside of being in the emotion. Doesn't need to be a place that you stay in or you're in there to avoid the feeling, but just to sort of recognize, oh, I'm feeling this. Okay, right. And then the sort of metaphysical aspects that this stone can work with. We're looking at things like cleansing the aura, protecting you from EMF radiation, strengthening like your intuition, especially the center here, the third eye, and supporting access to particular records that are beyond the physical matter, and also aligning a lot of the chakras or the energy centers in the body as well. Now I want to get into a little bit of the cultural stories that this stone is often associated with. Now when we look at things like ancient Rome, fluorite was often like carved into goblets because for whatever reason they believed that if you drank from a goblet made of fluorite, that it would reduce intoxication that you may experience from the drinking. That is kind of funny. I have no idea as to whether there's any science behind that today. Now, when we go to China, it was often used as a stone of protection, to sort of ward off energy that wasn't conducive to what they're trying to create. And druids and shamans would also often use the stone to open portals, which I thought was quite interesting. And in medieval Europe was often known as the home of rainbows, and a belief that the stone contained the spirits of light, which I think is quite beautiful. Now, when we're looking at cleansing the stone, we're looking at things like sound, the moon, smoking, placing it on another crystal like selenite. It's one of those stones that maybe you might be a bit careful, have to be a bit careful with certain elements with it. So those ones there tend to be the more safer aspects of cleansing your stone. It's important to do that, as frequently as you use it, or even if it's just sitting around and it hasn't been cleansed for a while. But how would you use it? There's a myriad of ways for you to use it. That's really up to you, how that would look for you and what it would be most beneficial for you. So I leave that up to you as to what ways you wish to use it. If you've got any questions about fluorite, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next vlog.